It is a Wednesday, the 15th day of December 2021. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight. First though, let's have a look at what's making headlines at this hour.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
everywhere you go. MTN.
In our top stories tonight, police and the Electoral Commission caution Kayunga voters against violence in tomorrow's LC5 by-elections. Ministry of Transport issues new guidelines as brokers in vehicle registration are eliminated. Post Bank upgrades to a commercial bank as management commits to support agriculture sector. And death robs sports fraternity as a legend. Former rugby coach Seguya is dead.
Was brought to you by everywhere you go. MTN.
Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live, online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Elizabeth Nakakuni is on sign language and I am Rukid Edward Kiijanangoma. Now, the Ministry of Education and Sports has released the education calendar for academic year 2022 for basic education institutions, which starts on the 10th of January as the economy for the whole country reopens. Now, while closing the 28th Education and Sports Sector Review at Kololo Independence Grounds, the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataham Seveni, affirmed all learners will join the next classes, and Ministry of Education shall provide remedial lessons during that first term to help them catch up with the lost time. We have this story.
The Ministry of Education and Sports has announced that the school calendar for all levels, pre-primary, primary and secondary schools shall reopen January 10th, 2022. Pupils and students shall operate for 14 weeks in the first term and break off on 15th April 2022 for a 3 weeks holiday.
Second term opens for 14 weeks from Monday 9th of May 2022 until Friday 19th of August 22, followed by a holiday of 3 weeks.
The program for progression of learners indicates that only those who are at least 6 years of age shall be allowed to join Primary 1. According to the Ministry of Education, by the time schools closed for the second COVID-19 national lockdown in June 2021, learners in P4, P5 and P6 had already completed their assessments and promoted to the next class. As schools reopen in January, pupils who were in P1, P2 and P3 in 2020 shall report to the next respective class, and remedial lessons shall be provided for them in the first term.
3 and senior 5 classes of 2020 shall progress to senior 4 and senior 6 respectively upon reporting for first term of 2022.
The COVID-19 lockdown affected parents as it did to schools. Ministry of Education has guided that the parents should not be asked to pay higher school fees than they were paying before. On vaccination of teachers, 70% of teaching staff out of the estimated 550,000 teaching staff have received at least one COVID-19 vaccination jab and 28% fully vaccinated.
Right now, the first SOP that heads of institution must enforce is that all staff who are unvaccinated must not be allowed in the premises of the education institution of learning. For staff in government institutions and receiving a salary from public funds, we cannot allow you to remain away from your job simply because you do not want to be vaccinated, while at the same time you continue to receive a salary.
The ministry has also disclosed that since July 2020, under the current financial year, government has availed more than 107 billion shillings capitation grants to its institutions at all levels to enable them purchase amenities for observance of standard operating procedure.
For government-aided primary and secondary schools, at least 62 billion shillings of the capitation grants has been earmarked for restoration of these schools by way of minor repairs and facelifting.
Meanwhile, some of the priority actions from the review include ensuring and enhancing the surveillance system for school populations and ensure psychosocial support and targeting trainings for teachers and other staff to enable them resume school operations. I'm Navka Farida and Stephen Kalisia at Kololo.
The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development has finalized arrangements to present to Cabinet the long-awaited proposed real estate bill by mid-January next year and finally to Parliament before the 30th of January 2022. Consultations to have the same bill have been ongoing for the last 12 years. The Director in charge of Housing at the Ministry, Dave Wanyaunga-Tang, has revealed this in Kampala during the 2021 award-giving ceremony for the Real Estate Institute of East Africa.
Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development is in final touches of presenting the long-awaited real estate bill to Cabinet by 15th January and consequently to Parliament by 30th January next year. This comes after prolonged lobbying for the same bill to regulate the sector by real estate managers, brokers, agents, developers, among others, spearheaded by the Association of Real Estate Agents of Uganda. The Director for Housing in the same ministry, Dave Wanyaunga-Tang, has revealed this during the 2021 Certificate Award ceremony for specialist real estate trainees awarded by the Real Estate Institute of East Africa at Isami House in Kampala.
I commit myself and the government that we are in it and we should make it better. We should professionalize the sector.
The Institute Director, Nicholas Arinaitwe, together with the Real Estate's Uganda President, Shelley Kongai, welcomed the efforts of the ministry to finally expedite the bill to regulate sector.
Very soon we shall have an act that will be requiring all the real estate agents to be licensed. And to be licensed, first of all, you must be registered. And to be registered, you must have trained. So we are preparing those people who will be licensed in order to practice real estate when the real estate bill is passed.
And of course, so much laundering and all that happening in the sector as a result of this lack of regulation. So we are hoping that business will improve when the regulation is in place.
Some of the trainees hailed the program, which is the first of its kind in East Africa.
Before I did this course, I thought I knew so much about real estate, but after this, so much I've learned from this course, and I'm going to also do the advanced level.
Participants were drawn from Uganda, Kenya and Rwanda. Over 230 participants have so far benefited from the program ever since the Institute started 4 years ago.
The Chairman, Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Byabakama, has appealed to Kayunga voters for a peaceful election come tomorrow, Thursday, the 16th of December 2021. Byabakama has convened a final engagement with candidates for Kayunga LC5 elections and other stakeholders in the district.
All is set for 19,000 voters to cast the LC5 by-election vote for Kayunga district. Tomorrow, Thursday, 16th December 2021.
I want to assure you that we are ready and organized.
At the pre-polling engagement convened by the Chairperson Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Byabakama, emphasis was centered on the way forward.
And the candidates and their supporters for a generally peaceful campaign period. Of course, there were a few incidents as we have had. But generally, on the whole, the campaign was peaceful.
The engagement was attended by, among others, the district police commander.
Don't tolerate any hooliganism. We don't tolerate any violence. We don't expect intimidation. Tetusuubira ntwabeerayo okutiisatiisibwa okulemesa abantu okugenda kuba akalulu kaabwe. Tudeployinze okusinziira ku threats ze twafunye. Tuyina abali mu yunifoomu n'abatali mu yunifoomu abajja kusigala nga batwa information mu bitundu.
Byabagamba, however, warns against any form of violence.
Tusazeewo okubeera ku ludda lw'emirembe mu kulonda kuno oba butabanguko. Kiki tusazeewo ab'e Kayunga tubaddiza. Violence begets violence, and violence does not beget or determine a winner. It is disruptive and destructive.
The district police commander, Kayunga district, SP Felix Mujizi, confirms their preparedness level as per tomorrow's elections.
Tujja kozesa force okusinziira ku mateeka bwe gagamba. Bw'ojja kutulwanyisa n'amayinja, naffe tulwanyisa na teargas. Bw'ojja n'emundu, naffe tujjayo ki?
The engagement, which attracted leaders and representatives of all political parties, was a hot one.
Enguudo zonna eziri mu Kayunga zijjuddemu emisanvu. Akabonero akalaga okutiisatiisa okujjudde mu kalulu kano ekigenda okulemesa abalonzi baffe okujja okulonda.
We don't want the same thing to happen in Kayunga, that we shall move from the polling stations, then from the polling station we go to sub-county.
It is very uncivilized, very primitive to beat people. And the Electoral Commission must come out okuvumirira ekintu ekyo.
No political party called NRM has come here this time to lose an election. Because we have planned, we have campaigned, we have a good candidate. We lost the election that time because we were scattered everywhere. This is a by-election. We are together. We are in a small confine. We have corrected our mistake of our wrangling leaders who messed this place. So, from the inside of us, we have sorted our house. And all we expect is the Electoral Commission to do its job.
According to the Electoral Commission, voting materials are already in the district, waiting for dispatch to different polling stations, and this will start as early as 4 a.m., as voting shall start at 7 a.m. and end at 4 p.m. Voting is expected in 13 sub-counties and 71 parishes, with a total of 19,000 voters at 338 polling stations. I'm Robert Onyango and Shaidat Nasako for UBC News in Kayunga.
And we do sincerely hope it will be a peaceful by-election in Kayunga district. To the judiciary now, where over 10 billion shillings was saved in the financial year 2020-2021 in handling cases using the process of small claims procedure in over 100 courts across the country. This was based on the public's trust in the small claims procedure process of handling disputes other than going through the ordinary court process of handling cases. This was revealed in a report which was launched at the Commercial Court grounds in Kampala during a function that was officiated by Judge Musa Sekana, the acting principal judge.
1, 2, and 3.
In the small claims procedure report, which was launched by the acting principal judge, Justice Musa Sekana, it registered an increase in the case disposal with a percentage of 93% compared to the previous years, which was at 68%. With a total number of 4,366 registered cases of small claims procedure in the financial year 2020-2021, 4,054 cases were handled and cleared.
It is because of the mechanisms that the procedure has put in place to ensure that justice is accessed, that justice is determined without delay. When we go out for sensitization and we demonstrate how this procedure works, then people are able to understand and come to court specifically to register their cases in small claims procedure.
Although there has been an improvement in handling these cases using the small claim procedure in over 100 courts across the country, the process has been faced with challenges to the extent of registering 1,932 pending cases.
The rate of demand for small claims is higher than our ability to reach. We also still have a challenge on reporting. You might have noticed in the report that we have some data gaps, which means that we might have performed better than the report reflects, but for those challenges.
Justice Musa Sekana, the acting principal judge in launching the report, says by using small claims procedure in handling cases, this has helped in enhancing the country's economy and to address the issue of case backlog.
From the figures we have in the report has really helped, because now imagine if those cases were to be handled in the ordinary way, it would mean that they would be part of the backlog now. Lining up witnesses, many of them raising POs. So I believe that we shall work hand in hand to ensure that the small claims remains part of this in helping to clear the backlog and the workload on our table.
The small claims procedure solves the process of clients in resolving cases amicably, thereby easing clients' access to justice. However, Justice Kiriabwire requested for more sensitization about the process.
So when you now see 1.8 billion being recovered before trial, then you know that some significant improvement has taken place. When we talk about quick access to justice, this is what we are talking about. We pray that administration will focus a little bit more seriously on innovations, because they come to help us to fight case workload.
In the financial year 2020-2021, Mengo Magistrates Court registered the high number of small claims with 896 cases and disposed of 502 cases. Machine Magistrates Court registered 395 cases and worked on 321 cases. Mukono registered 204 cases and disposed of 180 cases among other courts. The small claims procedure was introduced in 2012, and in this court process, only cases below 10 million are handled within a period of 30 days. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Now, if you have been a broker or a go-between for vehicle registration, you might have technically been fired. Now, starting January 2022, the Ministry of Works and Transport will only allow motor vehicle registration between the buyer and seller. Emon Ngabo reports.
Owners of old vehicle logbooks have been given up to 6 months to renew and update them, lest they won't be allowed to be on the road. The Minister of State for Transport, Fred Byamukama, highlighted changes of all vehicle registration.
The ministry has decided to degazette all green and pink logbooks accordingly. Wherever you are, just know the ministry is deciding to degazette them. We have given them 6 months to bring back the pink and the green logobooks. Then we issue them with the white logbooks.
Despite taking over registration of vehicles from Uganda Revenue Authority, the Ministry of Transport will still use URA's registration portal for a full year as they create an automated registration vehicle database. Meanwhile, middlemen in the vehicle registration business have been cut off. The ministry will only allow transactions and exchange of sale to be between the buyer and seller, eliminating exorbitant charges by brokers.
Effective 1st January 2022, only applicants, that is the seller or the buyer, will be allowed to submit applications relating to post-first-time motor vehicle registration services at the motor vehicle registration office's premises. When you go there in person. And according to the government of Uganda, what can only identify all of us, majorly, the common document is the national ID. you should come with it. So now, if these brokers are cheating you, it will be their end, because the national ID has got your photo, has got your details.
The motor vehicle transfer fees remain at 84,000 shillings. Registration of vehicle for export at 180,000, among other fees.
Very interesting thing that is going to be happening effective January next year. Now, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, has urged journalists to remain ethical at all times as they execute their work. Baryomunsi asked media practitioners to always stick to the truth through verification. The minister was officiating at a 3-day training for journalists in the sub-region of Bunyoro that was organized by the Media Council of Uganda in a drive to have responsible media practitioners in Uganda.
The Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, officiated the opening of the 3-day journalists training in Bunyoro sub-region organized by Media Council of Uganda. Baryomunsi appreciated the work of the media in the country and assured them of government support. He urged them to always remain ethical and stick to the truth while on duty.
Yes, we expect you to always report what is true, so truth should guide whatever you report, and therefore you should always do verification from your sources, you verify your information.
He urged leaders to cooperate with journalists and give them information needed to be relayed to the public.
All those who have information, those who are in positions of influence, ministers, RDCs, government workers, should cooperate with media practitioners, should give information so that the public can always be informed.
Paul Ekocho, the chairman of the Media Council of Uganda, says the main goal of the training is to make sure journalists across the country gain the necessary skills in line with their professional duties.
The issue of quality by ensuring that we try our best to equip all people practicing journalism, and not just journalists as we know them, with the tools and skills to be able to impart and exercise their vocation very well.
The journalists in this sub-region raised a number of issues hindering their profession, which include, among others, welfare and safety while on duty.
As the minister has said, is to register them and know who they are, so that we are able to fashion ways and means of helping them to improve, enhance, and smoothly practice their vocation.
The area member of parliament, Joab Businge, advised the journalists to be objective in their reporting and evidence-based.
How you conduct your business becomes very, very important.
In attendance were 8 districts within Bunyoro sub-region, which include Kakumiro, Chibale, Kagadi, Chikube, Bulisa, Hoima, Masindi, and Kiijanangoma. I'm Nafka Farida and Jen Nyiramgisha.
The British Council Uganda, through the Commonwealth Scholarship Programme, has partnered with the Education and Society Programme to deliver a joint event focusing on climate change. The programme, under the theme Impact of Climate Change on Livelihoods and Malnutrition for Children and Adolescents, aimed at unpacking impacts of climate change and variability on agriculture and food security in the country. The engagement was between stakeholders, including government, civil society and communities that are greatly affected by climate change in relation to nutrition. More than 10 organizations showcased their projects that are working in different areas to address threats of climate change. Take a watch.
And our Active Citizens program. So you saw, for example, today we had around 10 organizations that we've worked with in the past who are working in different areas addressing the threat that we face from climate change. So what these organizations do in their various communities is, for example, we have Trash for Treasure, which is based right here in Kampala, and they are working on collecting trash which is not biodegradable, and converting into useful things like bottles, decor, and they make money out of that, and that money is used to support women within their own communities. So they're not just addressing the important issue of climate change, but they're also providing an income to otherwise vulnerable groups. So that's just one.
It is a massive opportunity for Uganda and especially smallholder farmers, etc., to take the opportunity around carbon markets, sell their carbon sequestration credits to other countries, other businesses, etc., and improve the livelihoods of young people, adolescents, but also families all over Uganda and elsewhere. So that's one. I think one of the second key things was the doubling of adaptation finance that I've also already mentioned. A third thing is Uganda is a pioneer or a pilot country for the task force on access to climate finance. So I'm sure we all in the room know about some of the issues that Uganda faces in terms of accessing climate finance. There is a task force with 5 pilot countries, and Uganda has been nominated as one of those. There will be money behind that. It will be kicking off around March or April. We're really hoping that will have a will make a transformational change here in country. In the UK will be supported.
Of collaboration, a lot of partnership needs to be put in place, and more specifically in the designing of instruments, financial instruments, solutions, products, initiatives that can be implemented and used to finance the climate change adaptation and mitigation actions and strategies by various companies at the grassroots levels, within government entities themselves, but of course there's still a lot of international finance that is required. So
Uganda's High Commissioner to Canada, Joy Rotha Cheng, has pledged to enhance her services as the country's representative to Canada. Now, this is in her message of appreciation to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for her reappointment recently. She has pledged to continue upholding the cordial relationship between Canada and Uganda.
I would like to thank my President, His Excellency General Kaguta Museveni, for giving me another chance and another opportunity to continue serving Ugandans in Canada. We shall continue doing it in our best ability. Ugandans in Canada, we are here to serve you regardless of what you are or where you belong. But provided you are Ugandan, this embassy is here to serve you, and I will continue doing that with my team, encouraging Ugandans who want to do business in Canada and Canadians who would want to go to Uganda and invest, to go and invest and build our economy. We shall ensure that we maintain the good bilateral relationship that exists between Uganda and Canada. Thank you so much, His Excellency, the President, for this appointment.
I thank the President of Uganda, His Excellency, the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for putting trust in her for more years. Anyway, that aside, I want to call everyone for what is going on in Canada for next year, 2020, July 10th, July 8th to 10th. We are having the first NRM chapter.
To Karamoja sub-region now, where leaders in Karamoja sub-region have been urged to stop interfering with impounding of animals. According to the 3rd Division Commander, Brigadier General Joseph Balikudembe, many leaders have interfered with animal identification exercise to recover stolen animals.
Part of that, why we are doing this chapter is
In the last months, insecurity rose among the Pian of Nabirituk and Nakapiripit and Pokot from Amudat districts due to increased cattle raids. Uganda People's Defense Forces and Police Anti-Stock Theft Unit met leaders from the 3 districts. Attendants at the meeting were concerned about the absence of top Amudat district leadership.
Sometimes we are getting the pressure from the Pokot side. They are pitching our cows by humble means towards Nakapiripit. And we really wanted to come and do. The reason we came here was to beg. Unfortunately, we don't have the Pokot again to beg. They are not here. We only have our brothers from Loro.
The absence of chairpersons and councillors from Amudat.
We'll now be taking a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Stay with us.
Everyone deserves more this festive season, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more Senku points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent locations. Get 150 Senku points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More Senku points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your Senku points, dial *141#. Everywhere you go, MTN.
It's the festive season and we love it. And that means it's time to celebrate with GoTV.
Come with me.
So get your GoCoder and GoTV value for 25,000 shillings to watch with the whole family. And if you're feeling extra festive, upgrade to our best package yet, GoTV Super.
Something to look forward to.
Download the My GoTV app for more information.
Super.
We all deserve a super festive season. And with GoTV, there's every reason to love it.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Raising voices.
As a teacher, I have the opportunity to shape how children grow and learn. I believe in creating a non-violent school where children feel safe and respected. I promise to lead by example and create a different kind of relationship with my learners, one that helps them grow.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Introducing the all-new Roofing's TMX 500C rebars with cut and bend surfaces. Roofing's, strength of a nation.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs.
Nyombe Marusi Ronald, Ngazwarua, Micholu Star, Alo Aro Towi, Hash, mi daily, Milo airtime je, Micho mi MB's data je, then Milo, Choti Milo issue in the Banlu sender Balumi call. Customer can only call early or mini in the sender.
The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
I'm growing up, I'm growing into every moment.
Thanks, Mom.
Nurture the moment with Minute Maid Delight, now available in apple flavor in the 400ml ready-to-drink pack.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. To Mbale now, where Mbale city leaders have blocked Uganda National Bureau of Standards from carrying out operations in the area. Now, this followed an operation by UNBS officials from Kampala, headed by Eastern Regional Manager Gaston Kironde, about the alleged non-substandard waragi in Musota Ward.
UNBS team from Kampala, led by the Eastern Region Manager Gaston Kironde, were denied access to Musoto Ward Industrial Division in Mbale City. The UNBS team had come to carry out its routine of trashing substandard waragi on the market. However, the team managed to forcefully access the area with the help of the police. On receiving instructions to stop the exercise, distillers insisted on speaking their mother tongue, indicating that they were not understanding the orders. The exercise, however, went on at all the distilling points. The region manager UNBS Chironde ordered the meeting to be put on a halt and the goods to be loaded on the truck. UNBS Communications Officer Victoria Namtebi says they are trying to remove substandard products on the market.
And then there's those that are uncertified by UNBS, so we've also seized those. And then there's those that illegally have the Q mark. They illegally bear the Q mark, but they are not in the UNBS system. That means that the Q mark is a duplicate.
More than 6,000 liters of waragi and some locally made products on market were taken away. Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
Now, tourism and hospitality industry is one of the fundamental pillars to economic prosperity that Uganda is developing to attract more players for investment to fulfill the country's Vision 2040. Tapping into the tourism potential has been with difficulty, with frontliners who are the tour guides lacking necessary professional skills and standards to steer the sector. Now, the Tourism and Hospitality Sector Skills Council, with other stakeholders, have developed tourist guides, trainers and assessors standards to equip their tour guides.
How much to earn? How much to pay for each guide? How shall we determine how to promote even a waiter to the level of a general manager?
For over 20 years, Uganda's tourism industry has been struggling with poor skilled tour guides, making it very difficult for the tourists' destination companies to deliver the much needed hospitality to tourists flocking the country.
Where will you have value for money if your guides are not assessed? Where will you have value for money if your guides don't have levels to know this one is a cultural guide level 1, this one is a cultural guide level 3, this one is a bad guide. If I say bad guide, I don't mean BAD, I mean BIRD.
The chairman, Tourism and Hospitality Sector Skills Council, Herbert Byaruhanga, the Directorate of Industrial Training, Uganda Tourism Board are reviewing training packages to meet the increasing demands of the industry. Acting Director Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Rosemary Kobutunji Tunomgisha says recovering the sector after COVID-19 lockdown needs rediscovering the opportunity cost of Uganda's tourism destinations over the other African nations.
We have the same products mostly on this continent, so how do we differentiate ourselves? The only way to win this market for tourists is to tell and present our story differently, and we will do this by qualified, competent tourism service handlers.
She was passing out the first form of trainers of tour guides at Fairway Hotel in Kampala. The deputy head of cooperation, Luke Person, says the current bilateral relationship between Belgium and Uganda has increased Belgium's support to Uganda projects.
In partnership with the Ministry of Education and Sports, the Belgian Development Agency, ENABLE, implements this SSU program, which is aligned with government strategies like the National Development Plans, especially NDP2, as well as the Skilling Uganda strategy and other Tibet policy.
Executive Director, Federation of Uganda Employers, Douglas Opio, says development of tour guides to acquire modern employable skills will increase employment opportunities.
From an employer's point, jobs will be created. Opportunities will be created. Because the better our guides, the more the experience of a tour, better the experience of a tourist. The better the experience of a tourist, the more tourists we will receive.
The Deputy Director, Directorate of Industrial Training, Muchala Elizabeth Ruth, emphasized the need for quality training standards for all skills training institutions if they are to streamline the world of work.
Yeah, before we close the gap between training and the skills which are being delivered in the world of work, it is necessary to come up with a standard. And that's what the IT does.
During the commissioning of tour guides, trainers and assessors, members from private sector and tourism agencies addressed critical issues pertaining to the tourism sector. Story by Douglas Setumba for UBC News.
After touring the state-of-the-art graphics systems factory in Luzira, State Minister for Trade David Bahati has told management that government is committed to solving issues like taxes and cost of electricity that affect manufacturers in Uganda.
And the local registered company buys 100% from outside Uganda, and they say that we are following Google. So you have our commitment as communicated by His Excellency the President. Our target is to have 5 cents for all manufacturers in the next few months. Yes, that is. We gave the Minister of Energy 6 months to resolve this, and the bell has been ringing. It is now 2 months to the time that we gave her. We hope that in the next 2 months we should resolve this and have 5 cents for all manufacturing.
Now, public service unions have raised concern over the increased violation of labor rights of employees in the public service sector that leads to poor service delivery. Public Service International Sub-Regional Secretary for English-Speaking Africa, Dr. Eveline Akech, has asked for support to public service workers to mitigate the challenges affecting the employees to deliver effective service delivery to communities.
Public Service International has launched a campaign to ensure improved public service delivery in the sectors of electricity, water, and waste management. During the benchmarking visit to public service unions in Jinja City, the Public Service International Sub-Regional Secretary for English-Speaking Africa, Dr. Eveline Akech, urged employers to support public service workers, mitigate the challenges affecting employees to deliver effective service deliveries to communities.
The current project actually brings about 3 unions. That is Uganda Electricity and Light Workers Union, Uganda Public Employees Union, and also Uganda Local Government Union. The project mainly focuses on promoting transparency and decent work in supply chain management, and this is within energy, water, and waste sector itself. Now, what do we mean by promoting transparency? We note that there are a number of players that are providing these public goods, which are very critical for our development.
Dr. Akech urged Jinja City authorities to invest in natural resources conservation to reduce on climate challenges that impede the city from realizing its full potential contribution to the national economy.
We're also looking at the issue of waste. One thing which is quite interesting in Uganda is that we do not have clear waste management policy. Even though we have an environmental policy, but when it comes to management of environment, it's not clear. Look at KCCA, they have an ordinance of 2000. But if you look at the way currently contracts of waste is being managed, there's a lot of division and there's no clarity in terms of who manages what and who runs what together. And actually said, okay, how are we going to manage these resources? From waste management itself to water management to electricity management. We might find ourselves that the tariffs are actually going low.
The Jinja City Principal Natural Resources Officer Ernest Nabihambo said poor management of land and natural resources is one of the major critical challenges affecting development of Jinja into a green city. The chairperson, Uganda Public Employees Union, Agatha Namirembe, was concerned over the increasing violation of informal workers' rights contracted by private companies in the public service sector.
Assistant Commissioner Cooperatives, Mr. Robert Waiswa Mpakabi, says government has resolved to use cooperative model to alleviate poverty. Let's get the details.
15 Mao Gemgos operating in the central districts of Mpigi and Mityana held a 2021 annual consultative assembly in Namirembe, Kampala on strategies pertaining growth and expansion of Semao Gemgo model in Uganda. Semao Gemgo, a Korean word, literally means New Village Bank, organized under the theme Rooting for Sustainable MG Growth 2022 and beyond, unanimously resolved to conduct door-to-door educational saving meetings and building a high-performing team of MG leaders, among others.
We have also resolved on the strategy of undertaking door-to-door mobilization campaigns to ensure that our MGs recruit more members, but also educate other members to save and also encourage our members to come and access the financial services, especially the loans. We have also taken a resolution of ensuring that our MGs are fully operational.
In his keynote address, the Assistant Commissioner Cooperatives at the Ministry of Trade, Cooperatives and Industry, Robert Waiswa Mpakibi, who evaluated Semao Gemgo Uganda for championing poverty eradication campaign, says cooperatives is the best option for sustainable growth.
So cooperatives today is the way to go, and government has fully embraced this. We look forward to seeing everyone participate in a cooperative for the good and development of this country.
In his remarks, the official of Establishment of Sustainable Model Villages in Uganda affirms South Korea Republic will continue empowering Uganda rural communities eradicate poverty through establishment of village banks.
I hope that next year we, NG and ESMB, continue to work together to achieve the common goal of financial inclusion, income increase, and poverty reduction for Uganda people. Yes.
The district authorities of Mpigi and Mityana, who commended the works of Korean Semao Gemgo initiative for changing the mindset of rural communities, urged the Mao Gemgo coordinators to uphold financial discipline while delivering service to the benefiting communities. Story by Robert Whiter for UBC News.
Now, part of the production arm of the Uganda People's Defence Forces, UPDF, dealing in commercial explosives, has contributed a cash donation of 5 million Uganda shillings towards the successful completion of the 2022 Tarehe Sita activities that will be held in the Elgon region. The cash contribution was received by the Defence Spokesperson Brigadier General Flavia Byekwaso on behalf of the UPDF Chief of Defence Forces General Wilson Mbadi. Brigadier Byekwaso commended Kyoga Dynamics for giving back to the people, since UPDF is a pro-people army. She noted that the money is a quick impact project that will touch many people's lives in the Elgon region. The defense spokesperson further called upon other defense stakeholders to emulate Kyoga Dynamics and contribute towards the successful completion of the 41st Tarehe Sita activities. The Assistant Managing Director of Kyoga Dynamics, Colonel Abdu Urugumayo, noted that the money should go towards the enrichment of medical and education services during these celebrations.
And as a contribution from the esteemed organization towards the efforts in supporting the UPDF while giving back to the people as part of corporate social responsibility during the 41st Tarehe Sita anniversary. The contribution will strengthen our efforts as UPDF as we pay back to the people in form of quick impact projects. NRM UPDF has been able to transform from a guerrilla force to a national and professional army.
Introducing Learn From Home Data Bundles. Customized bundles for you and your family to study or work seamlessly from the comfort of your home. Use any of these affordable data bundles to connect to your MiFi, routers, laptops, tablets, and smartphones while avoiding unwanted internet exposure and ensuring undivided attention during online classes. Enjoy instant access to Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and selected educational websites. Dial *175# to buy your Learn From Home bundle today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the festive season and we love it. And that means it's time to celebrate with GoTV.
Come with me.
So get your GoCoder and GoTV value for 25,000 shillings to watch with the whole family. And if you're feeling extra festive, upgrade to our best package yet, GoTV Super.
Something to look forward to.
Download the My GoTV app for more information.
Super.
We all deserve a super festive season. And with GoTV, there's every reason to love it.
Everyone deserves more this festive season, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more Senkyu points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent locations. Get 150 Senkyu points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More Senkyu points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your Senkyu points, dial *141#.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
The E-Government Excellency Awards are here. Let us appreciate government agencies that have made great strides in digital transformation for fast, convenient, and efficient service delivery to citizens. Visit www.awards.nita.go.ug to vote for your best government agency. The E-Government Excellency Awards are organized by the National Information Technology Authority Uganda in partnership with the World Bank Group, Huawei, and Ernst & Young. E-Government Excellency Awards 2021, embracing disruptive technologies.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs.
Mariam, in your Lantoro, Tabedo Jinja, Tadio Star 185, Tachulo Rigo TV for a month. After 2 days, your Airtel Jobinojo Goran Simu, Sana winning 100,000.
The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the world of business. A Bank of Uganda has granted Postbank Uganda a license that allows it to operate as a Tier 1 financial institution. The ascension marks the 13-year journey of strengthening governance, improvement of customer experience and capacity building, and kickstarting a digital journey. Dennis Sigoa reports.
As mandated by the law, the bank will no longer be categorized as a credit institution, but as a deposit-taking financial institution that gives loans to customers for purposes of consumption and investment to make profits.
Once you're in a more competitive space, it means that that journey to improve even further is extremely difficult. But we're confident that with the board and management and staff, we're ready for that.
Postbank, which has about 650,000 account holders, is owned by Government of Uganda with 100% shareholding. It's inevitable that the institution will have to optimize its potential and ably compete with the aggressive privately owned financial institutions.
We have a partnership with Uganda Development Bank, and this is really to enhance, to support the NDP 3, National Development Plan 3, and we support SMEs that are involved in import substitution, agriculture production, export promotion, industrialization, and as UDB handles many of the bigger, large-scale SMEs, we handle the smaller ones that are involved in this activity.
Postbank's ascension to Tier 1 status brings the number of licensed commercial banks in Uganda to 27.
So, who do we owe this to? Obviously, our customers.
Despite a tough operating environment in 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the bank made a net profit of 10 billion shillings. The institution boasts of having 49 branches countrywide and over 400 post agents. Dennis Ikoa for UBC Business.
State Minister for National Guidance, Godfrey Kayunga, has launched the Safe Postal Express, a partnership with the private sector, Safe Border, and the national postal operator to increase on quick service delivery. This partnership is a door-to-door format digitalized to change the nature of business in postal services.
In line with the government policy to collaborate with the private sector in creating business opportunities, government has signed a new innovation with the private sector that seeks to improve on service delivery. This is to provide quick service in a door-to-door format called the Safe Postal Express.
We all know that the days when people would travel to look for the nearest post office are behind us, because virtually all they need is easily available to them in a digital form.
The minister attributes how such innovations are created to increase competition on the market and to also increase on household income.
An innovation like this one, therefore, meets all our aspirations, because it is aimed at improving service delivery while utilizing ICT.
The Minister of State in charge of investments and privatization, Evelyn Anite, says businesses have to adopt to digital innovations in order
we're
to
going
succeed.
to create more jobs. We are also going to make sure that we invest more money in postal, because we want this innovation to succeed.
Stakeholders are optimistic on how this partnership is to benefit on both the
The product that
organization
we are building
and
is not
the
for us.
beneficiaries.
It is for the Ugandans who have continued to ask postal. It's for the Ugandans who have continued to ask Safe Border. And it's for the different requests that have continued to come our way. So we are just a group of people, the different businesses that are just willing to serve the different communities in the best way we can.
You come and we discuss and we make sure that services are delivered to our people.
The horizons of Postal Uganda have been extended widely, and we look forward to great success together.
Currently, this innovation is to operate within Kampala, and plans of extending it up-country are being discussed by the organization. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
A great innovation there, as a service delivery will indeed be improved. Now, labor externalization is seen as an avenue for short-term employment in Uganda and globally. Nevertheless, analysts are proposing actionable strategies that interest migrants to reinvest their revenues and remittances in order to foster the country's development agenda.
Thousands of youthful Ugandans leave the country annually in search of employment overseas. It is estimated that over 500,000 Ugandan citizens currently live and work in the United Arab Emirates. It's on this situation that stakeholders in the public and private sector converged in Kampala to discuss issues pertaining to labor externalization.
The issue of bilateral agreements are quite important in trying to use the trade terminology, which is normally they use what are called non-tariff barriers. So the barriers to migration that might not be based on regulation and what can be reduced quite considerably with these kinds of bilateral agreements.
But the other issue also is that how much are we investing? Because we talk about remittances they are bringing,
but how much are we investing in this sector? It is catch-up, because labor externalization, if you remember, it began with the, sending people to Iraq, okay, to Americans. They came with the dollars, at the beginning, and they splashed it around. So everybody got excited, and some people went underground.
The main focus was on formulating actionable strategies for integrating labor externalization in the country's agro-industrialization agenda. According to the Economic Policy Research Center, the organizer of the policy dialogue, the potential of labor externalization is undermined by challenges such as corruption, trafficking, and limited financial management, among others.
Going with in the mind of being a target worker, it's allowed. You be a target worker, but you know what you want to come back home to, than beyond apartments, because that's an over-flooded area.
Dr. Madina's sentiments are re-echoed by Professor Waso Balunywa, the principal, Makerere University Business School. With high rates of unemployment, poverty, and tough economic environment, migration to purported greener pastures is unstoppable.
So, externalization of labor is a result of our own internal weaknesses because we can't create jobs. So we must address that. How do we create these jobs? By increasing production, increasing productivity, creating value addition industries, so that this person who has more income is now demanding, I now want a new shirt instead of an old shirt. I want a new shoe instead of the old shoe.
But the issue to ponder on is what next for those who return home, sometimes to settle permanently. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
Introducing Learn from Home Data Bundles. Customized bundles for you and your family to study or work seamlessly from the comfort of your home. Use any of these affordable data bundles to connect to your MiFi, routers, laptops, tablets, and smartphones while avoiding unwanted internet exposure and ensuring undivided attention during online classes. Enjoy instant access to Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and selected educational websites. Dial *175# to buy your Learn from Home bundle today. Airtel, the smartphone network. Terms and conditions apply.
I am one of the millions of people who have been vaccinated. And today I want to ask you to choose to be vaccinated so that we can all go back to enjoying the Uganda we all love. A country that is one of the most entrepreneurial in the world with the most friendly people. A country where we can do business with anyone at any time. A country that is free of COVID-19. So, get vaccinated today in any of the verified health centers and let's bring business back to Uganda. COVID-19 vaccines are free of charge, safe and available.
Invest in your health. Invest in Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Uganda Investment Authority.
And finally, we'll look at an item on sports, and it's rather sad news today as former rugby coach and captain Robert Seguya is dead. Seguya succumbed to leukemia on Tuesday night. We have more in this report.
The Uganda sports fraternity is mourning the death of former rugby Cranes coach Robert Seguya. Seguya also captained the national team, succumbed to leukemia on Tuesday night at the age of 43.
Robert Seguya abasinga ku babadde bayita Sugi ajja kujjukirwa nnyo ng'omu oli abazannyi ba rugby abakyasinze mu ggwanga. Ayinza okuba teyali stylish nnyo, ayinza okuba teyali wa bukodyo nnyo, naye lw'oli ku kisaawe oyinza okugamba nti yali wa mugaso nnyo mu buli ttiimu gye yazannyira.
At the start of November, Seguya was cleared of leukemia according to his medical tests from the Cancer Institute. But he started feeling unwell on Sunday and was rushed back to Mulago Hospital, where he breathed his last. There were many fundraising drives earlier by the rugby fraternity when he was diagnosed with leukemia to support his bone marrow transplant in a unique display of solidarity in the battle against the deadly disease. Seguya won the Uganda Cup 7 times with the Heathens and played for Uganda in Rugby Sevens at the Commonwealth Games in 2006
and 2010, among other tournaments. Besides the national team, he also coached Heathens, Buffaloes, and Ginger Hippos.
And we've almost come to the end of this bulletin, but before we leave you, let's have a quick reminder of our top stories.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Caution Kayunga voters against violence. Minister of Transport issues new guidelines as brokers in vehicle registration are eliminated. Postbank upgrades to a commercial bank as management commits to support agriculture sector. And in sports is sad news as death has robbed sports fraternity of a legend, former rugby coach Seguya.
Was brought to you by
That's all we had time for. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night, but do not go away because up next is the Soul Sisters, and that will be followed at 10 p.m. by Behind the Headlines. Good night and see you tomorrow.
The family of the late engineer Sen Mbonya Byombi with deep sorrow announces his passing, which happened the 14th December 2021 at UMC Victoria Hospital after a long illness. There will be a funeral service at St. Charles Rwanganti in Kampala on Wednesday 15th December 2021. Burial will be on Friday 17th December 2021 in Kisoro District. May his soul rest in eternal peace.